Hey Cancers, this is your reading for the week of June 1st, or when you hear it and it resonates. And of course, it will not be for every Cancer. What I heard as I was asking for what Spirit wanted to offer you was I heard Power Rangers of the ZODIAC. Now, I've never really looked at Power Rangers, understood what they are exactly. So I checked it out, and basically what they are superheroes. And there's a very strict code of ethics, and they're not allowed to use their powers for ill. And they are supposed to be incognito. So until they transform, they can transform into these powerful things. They are just like everybody else. And I feel like this is it. I feel when we are talking about the Cancer energy, there has been such a huge shift for you in terms of your ability now to know who you are, know exactly who you are, so that wherever you are deciding to work with other people, you are doing it now from a place of how does that interact with me? Now, of course, not all of you are going to be there. Some of you are still developing and understanding boundaries within yourself and understanding how to live with such a hugely empathic heart and not be taken down by it. The thing is, my dears, is that for many of you, and for many of you in the past, for some of you still, and intermittently it may happen simply because the patterns have been there for a long time, there can be a sense of almost powerlessness when it comes to dealing with other people's emotions or dealing with the intense emotions. The thing is, you do feel intensely. That is one of your superpowers. And what you've been learning to do as the world has been changing and as every sign has been evolving to a higher state of consciousness, your ability to work from an empowered place in helping people rather than a disempowered place in helping people has been changing and growing. So you're no longer linked to that same kind of, oh, I must hold everybody's emotional energy for them, or I must be the buffer for everything that goes on in this family or this business or this relationship. You're learning now to have the boundaries within yourself that allows you to tune in to that really deep power that you have. Because when you have deep emotional connection, you can create rapport, you understand nuances, you can protect yourself against situations that are not good for you by choosing not to walk into them. And what Spirit is saying is you're understanding what the messages were and who are the faces that have left me feeling as though I was not capable, left me feeling as though things could never change. I was always just going to be stuck in this mess of emotion that I was trying to navigate but could never really use to my benefit. What does that mean? Well, this means now that it affects many, many different things, Cancer. It means now, because you can set boundaries and barriers, you're a lot less inclined to be in situations where you feel as though you're hurt, which means there's a lot less forgiveness that you need to give. It also means one of the things that can happen, Cancer, and this is important, I feel, for how you're going to be dealing with relationships in the future, and that is because you're so intuitive and because you're so empathic, you have understood situations very deeply, as many water signs will. You've understood situations deeply in a way that other people did not, and it didn't make sense to you that they couldn't. So sometimes, or it didn't even dawn on you that they didn't. So sometimes you ended up feeling hurt because you understood that that would be a hurtful action, but they didn't get it. Excuse me. You might have also, for example, tried to explain to people why situations were the way they were based on what you saw, but if they weren't in touch with what their motivations were or what was really prompting somebody else in a situation and you're trying to explain it, you can end up looking as though you are telling them how things should be. You can come off looking perhaps a little bit superior or more intelligent, or like you're trying to assert power over them, when in fact that's not really what you're doing. You have been trying to understand it, and you've been trying to help them understand it so that a place of cooperation could come together. That's not necessarily how they've seen it, however. Now, because you're starting to have a different sense of your own self and a real sense of your own empowerment, it's not as necessary for you to get everybody else online with your way of thinking. You're much stronger in being able to say, this is how I feel, this is what my senses are telling me, and I'm going to go with that, and that's the truth for now. I'll just say that's the truth. And because I'm confident in that, I don't need to tell everybody else. I don't need to get them on board with this decision that I'm making or this choice. And so the reminder is, as you're learning new ways of communicating from this new place of power, there may be times when you really decide you don't need to say anything. And if you do want to encourage change, focus on the positive. Move it from, and see, if you can feel the energy of what I'm talking about, it's like the difference between being in this place of desperately trying to explain something to somebody so that then you're not going to be all alone and isolated with all of this feeling, and these people will calm down and behave differently so you won't have to feel all that stuff. Now, because you're able to keep things out, you're much stronger. You have much more of a sense of power. So you don't need to take things in order to process them. And you also don't need to engage in them necessarily. So for you, Cancer, what you're being told for now is, as you're changing these patterns, lean into grace. And realize that some of that sense of hopelessness and heaviness that can come, and powerlessness that can come with that sense of hopelessness, things will never change, I will never change, life will never change, that you can lean into grace, and you can use those moments to look back at any of the beliefs that may be still stuck with you that are linked to that sense of hopelessness and powerlessness, so that you can just disperse them. Remember, you've been working on these things for a long time. You have been changing, making huge changes. So this is another step to just kind of transmute that energy out of your body if you need to. And that you are always reminded, my dear Cancers, with your big hearts, with your great empathy, please remember that grace is always there for you. And that you can lean into that. And I'm going to read you the card. Grace is not earned. Grace is a state in which we receive, for no apparent reason, a divine influence which strengthens us in a way that eases whatever problematic or miserable state we find ourselves. Grace needs only to be accepted in order to be received. And I think it's really important right now, Cancers, because there is so much emotional upheaval right now. There is so very much static in the group conscious mind that you're very inclined to pick it up. So please be gentle with yourselves. Please focus on you, staying in touch with you, and lean into grace and challenge any of the thoughts or ideas or beliefs that are telling you you have to hold everybody else's energy all the time. You have to be the savior of everything. You don't. First, you save yourself. You are in the process of doing this, and you are in the process of doing this in a way so that you can help the new chapters coming in, the new phase of life, the new shift on the planet, so that you can help them and us be more emotionally grounded and open and empathic at the same time, in a way that is healthier for us, which makes it healthier for everybody. I leave you with that, my dear Cancers. You take care. Much love.